The City of Johannesburg has been ordered to complete a verification and registration process for informal traders within 2 weeks. This follows a court ruling that affirmed the Metro's authority to regulate street trading while protecting traders' rights. The South Gauteng High Court judgment on Monday directs the city to commence the process on 4 November 2025 and complete it by 18 November. The ruling comes after the Socio-Economic Rights Institute, SERI, of South Africa took the Metro to court following the removal of informal traders operating illegally outside designated areas. During proceedings, SERI argued the traders were treated unfairly and that their rights to trade and earn a living had been violated. The court has ruled that the City of Johannesburg has to conduct an expedited verification, registration, re-registration and allocation process in respect of the applicants. For more on this, we're now joined by the Johannesburg Public Safety MMC, Dr. Mgcini, Tshwaku, as well as Volchere Kgekwane, who is the CEO of the National Black Caucus. MMC, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to begin the conversation with you. Has the city began implementing the court order today as was required?
No, thank you very much. Good evening to yourself and the viewers at home. Yes, we have started. I know that the JMPD and also the Department of Economic Development are hard at work. This work, you must remember that it has already started in the other areas, Kopri and other areas. No, there's been not some resistance as you have seen in the other areas like the Delvas and all of that. So that work has been finished as it was required by the court judgment around 2013-2014 that the city must implement the permit system. So that permit system has been ongoing. If I'm not mistaken, I'll get my numbers right. We have about 60 to 70,000 of the payment that had already been issued already. But it was just that the matter of Delvas was sub judice at some point, and also there was some sort of a communication and forums that were communicated about that area. That's why it was taken to court.
Just describe to me the mechanics here. The verification, registration, re-registration, and allocation process has multiple steps in it. Will they happen sequentially or will they happen concurrently?
Look, at the same time, before you can get a permit, there needs to be a verification in terms of you must have a South African ID, and also as per the Immigration Act, you must have a proper passport or your asylum seeker that is valid. So you'll have the Home Affairs that will be verifying that. And then after that step, you'll be able to get a permit, and there are allocated spaces now. If you go to Delvas, there are allocated spaces where people who got permits will be able to trade there.
So let me rephrase that. What I'm specifically asking is will the approach of the city be to say, look, we're going to do first the verification step of the process until everybody has been verified. Once the batch is complete, then we will start doing the registration and or re-registration part of it. And then once all of that is complete as a batch, we will then begin the allocation process. That's what I meant by sequentially or concurrently.
Oh, no, it does at the same time. Once you apply, they will verify you and check everything is fine. You bring everything necessary document, then you get allocated the space. You don't have to wait and wait and wait and wait. Those who qualify will get it immediately, like we did with the spaza shops.
Sure. Volchere, what is the position of the National Black Business Caucus on the court order one, but also how the city is executing it?
Good evening, and good evening to you. The NBBC's point of view is that this has been a long time coming. As business, we want to be in an environment where we can actually be able to invest in the city. The way the city has been for the last 10 years, it was not conducive for business at all. So I see a lot of people complaining and fighting the fact that the traders are being removed. But the clutter that was in the city was never conducive for business. So even for them, those who have got the permits and are doing trading legally, they will benefit from this Johannesburg is currently carrying out. They will benefit from it because there will be more order, and they will feel comfortable to come back into the city. We know that the city was always busy anyway, but there was a lot of crime there. And a lot of those who are not registered, and the way that the system was, well, there was no system. It was easy for a criminal to rob somebody and hand it to somebody who's sitting with a card box, the phone, even the weapon. And then when police come, they can't see because there's so much clutter. So when the city is cleaned up and there's order, it will be safer for people, which means the consumers who consume those goods that those informal traders are selling from a business point of view will make sense for the clients to come to the city and with those who are legalized. That's why the bylaws exist in the first place. So I don't understand when informal traders are angry about the cleanup. They should be happy with the cleanup because it means that they will have a sustainable business in a safer environment. That's really our stance on it. We know that the foreign nationals are here. The MMC speaking about how the foreign nationals with asylum can get a document or can get certified to be able to trade in the city. Now, that's a difficult one because that one's got to do with our legislation of the country as a whole as to who's allowed to actually do what. And there's a lot of mixed messages on who's able to do what and who's not able to do what, whether your status in the country is legal or illegal, But I can tell you now that a lot of our members who are informal traders, they have a real struggle with the foreign nationals. Where the foreign nationals group up, they don't allow them to. They intimidate them, they fight them, they even get violent with them. So really, this cleanup is been a long time coming, and as a NBBC, we welcome it totally. We would like the city to see the city as a city, and right now it's being cleaned up. Already people can walk freely. You can now see a further distance when you're walking in the city. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. MMC, is this attempt a target only at informal traders, or will formal traders who are operating unlicensed, so to speak, as well, will they also be audited in a very similar way?
Look, yes. You see, as my colleague has indicated, that we need to, at some point, be able to regulate, trade in the city, whether it can be the informal trader, the street traders, and also the ones that are in the shops, So that's why you've been seeing us with lots of bylaw that we've been doing. And of course, there is a bylaw that the one that will be targeting the spaza shops. I think it was in the consultation phase. That is what also that needs to happen, is the regulation. Correctly so, as my colleague said, is that for too long there was no regulation. And in other words, and also in terms of public safety, correctly so, it was that becoming unsafe and unsafe. At this point in time, we'll be able to regulate that. And informal traders, we know where we come from. The city, and us as the MMCs, in terms of where we're coming from and the political party that we come from, we know that we're always going to be the side of the weak, because we grew up on that. So there's no hate. That is just that we really have to clean up the city.
Yeah. MMC, just very quickly, we know that a lot of informal traders in the Johannesburg inner city in particular are displaced people. And we should not forget that literally 2 buildings in the last 3 years in Johannesburg had to be vacated for one or the other reasons. One in particular having quite literally burnt down. A lot of people lost their ID documentation in those fires. And these are people who often are operating as informal traders in the inner city of Johannesburg. What sort of concession will be made by your office for those who don't necessarily have their ID document, asylum seeker status document, and or any necessary verification document that they need to participate in the process?
Look, on the asylum seeking, that's why that this committee or this verification process involves the Home Affairs. So Home Affairs must come on board. Individuals who have lost their ID, they must probably have a proof there. You can go and get it, because to do a new ID, it cost you, I think, about 300 or so, roughly, to make a new one. So the Home Affairs is playing a central role to do that, the verification. It would not be an issue. And the asylum seekers as well, it's done by the Home Affairs. So we'll be able to really and vet people properly. But the problem that we're having, of which now we'll have to, it's unfortunate that people, they don't like to deal with this problem, is that when South Africans get these permits, they lease them to other people, and mainly the foreign national. It's the same thing that is happening with the spaza shops. But to answer back your question, you don't have to worry about that. Any case by case, we're going to be there to assist them. No one will be a person legitimate. Will ensure that is actually assisted. And public safety, we told them that we're open to assist. Everyone on board.
I am out of time, so I only need a yes or no answer on this. I can't have substantiation. Has the city returned the belongings to those of the people, the traders, that was confiscated during the cleanup process?
They have them. These people are trading already.
Okay.
They've established under the shell house underground. They are trading already.
Okay, going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, MMC Mgcini Tshwaku, as well as Volchere Kgekwane, the CEO of the National Black Business Caucus, leaving us with that conversation. Of course, that court order having been operationalized today.